Hey there, amazing listeners. Before we dive into today's episode, I've got a bit more housekeeping. If you love the show as much as we love making it, please hit that follow button. And if you're feeling extra generous, drop us a like, leave a comment, or share an episode. We still find that good old word of mouth is the best way to get the show out there. So please tell your friends, tell your colleagues, tell your dog, or for our demographic, tell your fellow residents in the old folks' home. Your support helps us keep the conversation going, brings more awesome content your way, and allows us to attract some fab guests. So thanks as always for listening. For now, get comfy, get cozy, and let's get into it.
Let's start a podcast about our mental health for no good reason why. Let's call it
Bites. Ooh, yum, 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 yum. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Mind Bites.
Mind Bites.
With him,
Paul Beeson, and him,
Lee Crompton.
expertly done.
It wasn't expertly done. I did have to sort of visually cue you to
I
go,
was
is that...
being nice.
Oh, okay, right. Thanks, mate. Visually cueing. Do you say the next bit or do I say the next bit? Welcome to Mind Bites.
Yeah, welcome. So this is where we can waffle with gay abandon.
Yep. If you've tuned in and not listened to the Arthur Smith episode, aka Brian Smith, then do so now, because otherwise we have got carte blanche to just waffle away.
Yeah, so if you want some context for the waffle, go and listen to the previous episode if you haven't done so.
Do it.
So, Arthur Smith. So, what the first question I have for you, Lee?
How many have you got?
Well, one at the moment.
One. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, it's a two-part question then.
Okay.
Why Arthur Smith? And once you'd made that decision, how did you manage to get him?
Okay, so which came first, the chicken or the egg? Why Arthur Smith? Because I already had his deets.
Okay.
Which then answers the question, how did I get him?
Because you had his details.
Because I had
already.
his deets.
Fair
no,
enough.
so...
how did you get his details in the first place?
How did I get his details in the first place? I can't remember.
Well, this is going well.
No. However, so what happened was we're going to have to play the anecdote. I told you the last episode that we're going to have to play the anecdote corner jingle.
Lee Crompton's anecdote corner. Lee Crompton's anecdote corner.
So, when many years ago, when Gemma was 30,
that was yesterday, was it not?
We were prior to her birthday, it might have been 6 months before her birthday. We were sat in the garden having a few, I think we're having a barbecue with some friends and what have you. And we were talking about what we were going to do for Gemma's birthday. And one of my friends / colleagues at the time was best pals with Paolo Nutini.
Okay.
And what we said we should do is get Paolo Nutini to come round and play. Because we've got the summer house in the back garden. He could do a little gig in the summer house for Gemma's birthday. And then somebody else said, yeah, and we could call it G in the Park. So this became a standing joke that we were going to have this music festival in the back garden. I took that a stage further and did this whole 40-minute mockumentary based on G in the Park, where I'd wrote these scripts of people who were going to be appearing. So it was like friends and family and with sort of cameo appearances. It was the days before, what's the thing where you can get the celebrities to do the thing? I think it's called Cameo, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Where you can pay and go, will you wish my brother a happy birthday? You can.
Yeah, there's a couple of them, isn't there? Cameos, I think, the sort of more well-known
one.
Yeah.
So it was the days before that, and I said, so I'd sort of, obviously, as is my wont, written this convoluting script about how these people were going to appear at G in the Park, and then it all falls through. for whatever reasons, and they can't appear, and it's just going to be a barbecue in the back garden for family and friends, which it was. We had about 80 people around. A surprise party, it was about 80 people, and then showed the documentary. So one of the people that was that I managed to contact who was in the documentary, mockumentary, it's not a documentary, it's like it's a proper thing, was Paul Daniel, the late Paul Daniels.
Wow, that's a coup.
So the thing was, what I hadn't appreciated, I don't know, thinking back why I hadn't done this, is that I hadn't given anybody the script up front. So I turned up to Edinburgh because he was doing a show in Edinburgh. Turned up to a show in Edinburgh and basically met Paul Daniels and handed in this script outside his. We went backstage and outside his dressing room, and I remember handing him the script and him looking at it like deadpan. And it was basically because obviously I know what's on it, and I was sweating because it basically said, "Hello, Mr. Daniels. What's your thoughts on how you feeling about introducing the acts at G in the Park?" So he was going to come on and be the compere, right, in our back garden. And he says in the script, introducing the acts. I am one of the acts. I'm Mustard on the banjo and Debbie. You will see Debbie on the tambourine, or words to that effect, right? Little did I. So he sat there reading this script. So then it all falls through. Oh, and then he does that bit, and then for later on, he was to say, "Oh, well, do you know what? I never really liked that Gemma anyway. I'm glad it's all fallen through because she's a pain in the ass and blah 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 blah." So he's reading this script rather than just going, "Hello, it's Paul Daniels and happy birthday." Da, da, da. He's reading this script and he's just his head down and he's not saying a word. I thought he is just going to tell me to fuck off. And after he's been reading the script, he lifts his head and he goes, "Debbie," and I didn't realize that she's there. "Yeah," she shouts back from the dressing room. "I can't come out," she says. I'm still in my dressing gown." He says, "Have we still got that tambourine?" "Oh, hang on. Yeah, I think so." She comes out with this tambourine, which I've written in the script, and he does it. Just first take, done, does all the bits. So we had Paul Daniels, we had this thing, so it was all like just random people. So another one was Christine and Neil Hamilton.
Oh God.
So she was hilarious because she's exactly the same in real life as she is on the telly. But she refused because they were doing a show in Edinburgh. She refused to be filmed in front of anybody else's flyers. Not that it was ever going to be, it was only going to be broadcast, so played at like a family birthday party, right? It's not going to go on BBC Two, but she refused to be filmed in front of anybody else's flyers. Of course, there's flyers everywhere. So ended up, it's like the worst footage ever of her and Neil being interviewed, if you like, in front of a fire exit. And another one of various other people was Arthur Smith, who agreed to do it. And well, he couldn't do it because he was on tour and he was in Campbelltown. And I worked out how many hours it was going to take me to drive around all the way up and back down to Campbelltown. So he said, "Oh, look, I think it's a really good idea, and I'd really like to get involved." And so he said, "Can we do it over the phone?" So we did it over the phone, and yeah, it's basically him just being a grumpy old man and just me beeping out a load of stuff as he said. "So basically, what you're saying is you want me to be a stack because Paul Daniels had pulled out in the script. So basically, what you're saying is you want me to stand in for Paul Daniels." And I'm like, "No, well, I know. I mean, you were our first choice, Arthur." He says, "You know what you can do with G in the Park? You can poke it up your ass." And I never like that Gemma anyway, sour-faced cow. And he just rants about not wanting to do G in the Park, basically. So, and that was giving a rare age, but a long time ago. And we went to see him in Edinburgh afterwards, and we met up. She said, "Oh, if you're in Edinburgh, come over and say hello." So we went up to see his Pissed Up Chat show, which is, like he said, he mentioned there that the idea was that he breathalyzed the guests and they had to be drunk over the limit before they came on the show, and he was sober, and then he interviewed them. And then we met up with him afterwards and had a pint. And yeah, so I had his details and thought, "Do you know what? I wonder," because I think he's an interesting guy. He's obviously been around the block. He's he's got stories to tell, and as I know he'd had sort of a life-changing experience as well. So I thought he'd be good to get on.
There we go.
Not like, I should hasten to add, Tom Kitchen. So I had a similar experience with Tom Kitchen. Yes, he'd do it. I turned up and basically handed him the script. So we went over to, I think his restaurant is called The Kitchen, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I handed in the script. And he's like, "What's this?" I said, "Well, it's just a little jokey script that," and I think at the time it was taking the mickey out of Gary Rhodes. So the idea was that Tom Kitchen was going to come across and he's going to do the barbecue, right? He was going to do the catering. He's like, but I'm not doing the catering. I'm like, no, no, I know you're not doing the catering, Tom. It's just a joke. And he said, oh, because Gary Rhodes was too busy opening a Lidl in Scunthorpe or something. And he's like, well, that's taking the mickey out of Gary Rhodes. You know, I mean, we don't do that. We don't do that. I'm like, I know Gary Rhodes isn't really opening a Lidl in Scunthorpe.
God's
I know you're not actually doing the barbecue at this fictitious music event. It's just a joke. So he said, well, no. And then he ended up like going off and having a real big Barney with his commis chef in French, with his commis chef or his manager or whatever it was. They had this really heated debate, and he came back and he went, "No, I'm not doing it." So I said, "Right, I've come all the way over because I've driven over with all my equipment. What are you prepared to do?" He said, "Well, I thought I was just wishing a happy 30th birthday." I'm like, "Well, we'll just do that then." So in the middle of this mockumentary, it's just a scene with Tom Kitchen going, "Oh, hi, Gemma. I hear it's your 30th birthday. We'd love to see you over at the kitchen sometime. Have a lovely day." And then he kind of looks at me and goes, "Is that it?" I went, "That's fine, Tom. Thanks. If that's a..." So I went all the way over there. It took me like a morning to get literally 15 seconds of Tom Kitchen saying happy birthday.
he sounds like a delight, doesn't he?
Oh, he was hilario.
Hmm.
So I don't know whether you expected such a long-winded answer. Probably yes, after all the episodes that we've done together.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting a short answer, but
No.
that was an interesting answer though.
Mm.
What a cool story.
G in the park. Trying to think who
Yeah.
else we had.
Do you still have the footage? Is that
I
something
think
that
I
you
think
could?
it's on YouTube.
Oh, right, okay. Maybe we could put the link in the
Oh, no, I don't think
link tree.
don't think Gemma would thank me for that.
I want to see Debbie McGee playing her tambourine.
Debbie McGee playing the tambourine. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And yeah, so getting back to Arthur Smith,
Sorry, yeah.
I didn't realize as well like he'd sort of knocked the drink on the head, and because he was such a tearaway in his younger years.
Yeah, I got the sense that he'd yeah, walked the line.
Yeah, and I think it's part and parcel of the industry, which is either a good thing or a bad thing depending on your viewpoint and how much you like to drink. But over the years, I've spent some time with comedians in Edinburgh, and they love a drink. Well, obviously not all of them, but the young ones, like basically the month in Edinburgh, they are working hard and probably doing their own show, but then also having to appear at like Late and Live and do radio interviews and all this kind of stuff. So they're always working. But when they're not working, they are most of the time like just kicking the arse out of Edinburgh. And I've seen it with my own eyes. I've been involved in it as well.
I imagine you have, Paul.
It's brilliant fun, but yeah, if you're constantly on the road and constantly living that kind of lifestyle, I can see how it can lead to problems. And
yes,
like Arthur was talking about his own health, and not just his mental health, his physical health. And what was it he actually said? He's forgotten what it's like to have a hangover because it's been 20 odd or 25 years since he's been drunk.
Yeah,
like he'll still have the occasional drink, but he never drinks to get drunk anymore. So yeah, it was interesting to hear that kind of that side of it, because so many people in any creative industry, drink plays such a big part of things like networking events and social events. Not just
I hate networking events.
Yeah, but so do I. And if I'm at a networking event, that's when I'll probably smash a few drinks back because I'm like, it's a way to loosen up. It's a way to maybe, because I hate having to approach people and talk about myself and that kind of stuff.
Oh, I don't. Hello, darling. It's me.
No, I
No, I do. I
I
do. No,
can't stand it.
yeah. It can't, I think it can
Um,
come across as very false, can't it, when you're forced to make
oh,
conversation?
totally. And some people are great at that. Some
Yeah.
people will quite happily talk loudly about themselves and all their amazing achievements and working in this industry. You do come across people like that quite
There are a
regularly.
few we know.
Hmm.
Mention no names.
No, yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And yeah, so it's stuff like that. I can, and I've been there where it's like I'll have a few drinks and then it'll make me a bit less inhibited when having
Mm,
to go through that kind of process, especially if it's an event where the alcohol is free.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, you batter into it while you can, especially when you're a self-employed actor. A free bar is like a
Well,
red rag to a bull, isn't it?
I am going to jump in there because I'm gonna open this up, right? Talking of
Hmm.
self-promotion, here we go.
Okay.
So, because the thing is the free bar. I'm going to an event in London on Friday.
Hmm.
It's for the construction, it's the London Construction Awards. If I'm honest, I have no interest in whatsoever. And I know there's people from work who listen to this, but I literally have no interest in this construction awards whatsoever. Right. But I was strong armed into it and I was like, oh, but that's not my idea of a good night out.
But
And
it's the London Construction
it's the
Awards.
London Construction Awards, and
The lawn cons.
they've
I
got a
think I think they
comedian.
abbreviated it to.
They've got a comedian on, and I'm like, oh right, who is it? And they're like, oh, it's no one I've not heard of them. I'm like, you're really selling it. It's a comedian you've not heard of. Hang on, I'll look it up. Says beep, insert name here. Hi, Callum, if you're listening. It's Tom. Oh, it's Tom Davis. So I'm like, wow, Tom Davis. Love Tom Davis. If people out there are not aware of Tom Davis and they have not watched Murder in Successville and they have not watched The Curse on Channel 4, then I suggest they do because it's genius. And The Curse on Channel 4 led me as a he so Tom Davis plays a character in The Curse on Channel 4 called Big Mick. And Big Mick was the inspiration for a character for a pilot that I'd written where he plays the uncle of the main character and the two of them buddy up together. And he plays Uncle Clive, who is a driving instructor with crippling car sickness. And so I've been trying to get hold of Tom Davis through Instagram or whatever, going, I've written this script with kind of you in mind. Would you read it? And of course I've heard nothing. I don't know whether you can get hold of these people without, with trying to circumnavigate agents or whatever is a pain in the hole.
Mhm.
So akin to Alistair Campbell, I've gone, do you know what? I'm just going to go to the London Construction Awards and see if I can grab him and say, hello, my darlings. I've written a script with you in mind. Would you please read, even if it's just the first 10 pages, would you read it?
Now,
So,
for people out there who don't know, it's an industry kind of staple, isn't it? That if someone is reading your screenplay, they'll read the first 10 pages, and that is enough for them to decide whether they're going
yes,
to either carry on reading it because they think it's good or just go, I'm done. I'm not continuing to read this script. So usually, if it's a 30-minute TV show, it would be around 30 pages, roughly a minute per page, right?
yeah.
So anybody in the industry who's reading a screenplay cold for the first time will give it 10 pages and either then bin it or go, nah, the first 10 pages has hooked me, so I'm going to keep reading it.
I think it's a winner. Can I read that? Can I read out the log line?
Absolutely,
Are
yeah.
you aware of this? Turf
I
Wars.
don't, yeah, you've spoken to me about it, but
About it. Yeah, so
yeah.
it's Turf Wars, which is about feuding garden maintenance firms. It's a dark comedy, and the logline is following the death of her mother in a bizarre strimming explosion, Hannah reluctantly inherits the family garden business and quickly suspects foul play, leading her down a twisted garden path of secrets, sabotage, and unexpected alliances. There you go. So
Antics.
that is my pitch for Turf Wars.
Mhm.
And Uncle Clive, who's a bit of a buffoon, he's a kind of, by day he's a driving instructor, but by night he's like a amateur vigilante slash sleuth. So in his garage, he's got like one of those boards that you see on all the CSI things where he's got the pins in and he
The
so
red thread.
yes, he's got so and so and so and so. He's noticed that Mrs. So and so's let her dog poo in the next door neighbor's garden, and he has like retribution and sort of, yeah, he does. But then it turns into this, because it's going to be his sister. Was his sister, was it an accident, or was she murdered?
Dun, dun, dun. Have you written a full season of that? Have you got 6 episodes or?
No, I've written the pilot.
Mhm.
And I know what happened. But this is leading on from, right? Because it kind of leads on. I know this is supposed to be the mind bites of Arthur Smith, but it kind of leads on from Kara's, because I'm gonna cross him out, right? Tom Davis. Also, in the Arthur Smith episode, we spoke about Miriam Margolyes.
Yes, yeah, and you were gonna, because you'd
I
written a part for her
I've written a
with
part
her
for
in
her.
mind.
That was in something else. That was in the one that was optioned by, I don't know if I can say the name.
Parallel lines.
Parallel Lines, yeah. I don't know if I can say the name of the production company, because, yeah, probably not. But Parallel Lines, yeah, she was the mum who does reoccur, but she gets hit by a van. Nothing, no spoilers. She gets hit by a white van in the first 3 minutes.
I've
Again,
read the pilot of that, or
you, you you have read the pilot of that. So for people who don't know, it's called Parallel Lines, which was I think it was our friend Peter McVeigh who does the theme tune for.
Mhm.
It gave me the idea because he works where he's one half of the band St. Alban, not that again,
Hmm.
with Andy Dunlop from Travis. Now, a B-side of one of Travis's songs is called Parallel Lines, because it's about two people who never meet, and so those lines never cross over. So the idea behind Parallel Lines was, again, there's a theme here about people dying in the first 5 minutes of the show. A woman has been involved in a like one of these TV shows. So it was, the genesis of the idea was, I was watching one of these long lost families with Nikki Campbell and Davina McCall, and you have the parts of the show where they go, my life just isn't complete. I was abandoned as a baby, and I've not seen my birth mother for 40 years, and oh, it's terrible, and blah 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 blah. I just feel a piece of my life is missing, and I don't feel I can see the complete jigsaw, and I just want to know who I am and my identity, and blah 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 blah. And you go all through the sort of the heartbreaking stuff. And then Davina McCall comes in and she goes, "Do you know what, Barry? We found them. We found your birth." Oh, I can't believe it. Barry can't believe it. Barry is beside himself. He cannot believe he's going to be reunited. And then at the end, they go to wherever the place is that they found Barry's mum. And Nicky Campbell comes in and he puts a reassuring hand on the shoulder. And he goes, "Right, well, Barry, are you ready?" And he says, "I think so, Nicky. I think so. I can't believe I'm going to see my mum for the first time." And at that point, because I'm kind of dibbing in it, I'm doing stuff on the laptop, right? And Gemma's watching it. And at that point, 'cause I've got the general gist of what's going on, I turn to Gemma and say, when he goes, "Well, there she is. She's across the road. So she's in the cafe across the road. I can't believe it. I'm as ready as I'm ever going to be." I said to Gemma, "Wouldn't it be terrible if he got hit by a van?" So that's what happens in the first 5 minutes of Parallel Lines. Is
That's right. Yeah.
you have the yeah. And again, is it an accident, or is it murder?
There's a theme. There's a theme
There's
in
a
your
theme.
writing.
So Mariam Margolyes was going to be in the thing that we did with the production company, and we had to put our dream cast together. She
Mhm.
was the mum who's the long lost mum who gets found on this remote Scottish island, and she's hit by a van. as she crosses the road to see her long lost daughter. She
Mhm.
does. I mean, if I'm going to sell it to Miriam, then yeah, they say you die in the first 2 minutes. But no, she does reoccur then throughout the series.
Mhm.
So I've written to her management, and said, explain that. So I've got Tom Davis on my radar. I've got Miriam on my radar, and also Lewis Capaldi. I've now having tried him through Instagram and his management. I've noticed he's got a TikTok account. Again, I don't know whether these messages actually get through to the people. So I have messaged Lewis through TikTok. I've not bothered with Adele. I think that is stretching it. I know you should aim high, but and I'm not saying Lewis isn't as high as Adele, but I think he's more relevant to the show.
Probably.
Hmm. Mind you, Adele's had mental health. Has she not had mental health issue?
I don't know much about Adele, to be honest. She
No.
seems like a nice lassie, but
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know if she's had any mental health struggles. But then a lot of her work's quite autobiographical as well, isn't it? You know, when she sings,
Hello, it's
yeah,
me.
that's the time she answered that phone that time.
Is it me you're looking for? I can see it in your eyes. I say that you can stop me from
Mhm.
playing the songs, you can't stop me from singing them.
I don't know. Are you sure about that?
Hmm.
If
Well, it
not,
goes back
why
to my
not?
singing voice. My singing voice, and was that the last episode when I said about my vocal cords? Oh no, we haven't had that episode. No,
We haven't had
we
that
haven't
yet. Gonna
aired
have to
that
edit
yet.
that out.
That makes no sense to anybody. That wasn't Arthur Smith. That was the myo functional breathing woman.
Yeah.
Carice. Carice.
Caddies. Hello, Caddies.
Hello, Carice. Put the lotion in the basket. Um,
What we talking about? Arthur Smith.
guests. So Miriam, Tom, Lewis on my and then leading on from that, we mentioned when talking to Arthur about his brother, Dr. Richard Smith,
That's right. Yeah.
who did the thing for the Lancet on
Hmm.
on death and how it's still a taboo subject and how we should be dealing with that in modern society. He has agreed to come on the podcast.
Hey,
I don't think you knew that, did you?
I didn't know that he was coming on the
No,
podcast.
he's coming. No, he's. I've heard back from him. Arthur put me in touch with him, and his brother, Dr. Richard, is coming on the podcast.
Cool. We're accumulating quite a few doctors, aren't
We
we?
are.
Dr.
Mhm.
Richard, Dr. Megan, Dr. Jan.
He doesn't know this, but I call him Dr. Death. I don't know whether
Yeah.
to mention that when we speak to him.
No.
No. But he
But
just
if you're
he
gonna
does
do
talk.
it,
That's all he talks about. Is death. Whenever he's coming around, he always talk. I think my Arthur Smith impersonation is actually pretty good.
it is pretty good.
Thanks.
It's like he's back on the podcast
I should put
somehow.
that on my spotlight CV, shouldn't I?
Have you got a Spotlight TV?
Of course I haven't. No, you have though.
I do.
Does all the voices.
Elmo Pickles,
Yeah.
Arthur Smith.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing I think you told me, but we don't know about the listeners.
Mm.
When I talked about the legal ayahuasca,
Oh yes. Uh-huh.
and I suggested that Luminate, I still illuminate. Now,
Mm.
you and the lovely Gail, does she have a tambourine, by the way?
Somewhere.
Does she? I
Only
bet she
only
does.
comes out only comes out on special occasions.
And it comes out on the summer solstice. Um, tried a bit of Luminate action. How
Yeah.
did it go?
I did it twice, and that was enough for me.
It's a no.
I
Is it a from you?
Yeah. So the first time, so Gail and I both lay sort of side by side and put the sort of the first journey that you can do on the app, like whatever that journey was. And I get where you're coming from. Like I was seeing different colors and sort of kaleidoscopic kind of shapes and things like that.
Hmm.
Gail straight away did not like it. Like it just made her eyes water, and it certainly didn't kind of chill her out or relax her. Like she hated it.
Stick that on the poster.
Yeah.
Made my eyes water uncontrollably.
Yeah. And because it is that thing, when you've got your eyes closed because the lights are kind of flashing, you don't feel like your eyelids are relaxed. Like there's a lot of
Yeah.
twitching and stuff going on, and yeah. And I thought the first one was okay. I was like, okay, I'll give that another shot tomorrow. And then I did. I think the following night, Gail was actually away for the night, so I thought, oh, because I'm not going to annoy her by trying to do it, where she's trying to
Strobe
sleep or
effect in the
whatever.
bedroom. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was by myself and I did it. And yeah, the second one, it just irritated me. If I'm completely honest. Like by the end of it, I was just like, oh, I wish I hadn't done that.
Mm.
And it didn't relax me. It didn't, and it was a very different experience to the first time. Where the first one, I did sort of feel like I was flying and then falling, sort of going through tunnels and things like that because of the kind of kaleidoscope effect.
Yeah.
The second time, it was just annoying.
Mm.
I just felt like I was lying in bed, like with a flashing light in my face, and it was making me angry.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't think that's the desired effect.
No, so after that, I just went,
You
I'm
binned
not
it.
gonna. Yeah, I did try it though, but yeah, it's just not for me. Not for me.
Okay. Yeah. No, I still do it. I do find some. I tend to go back to the same one that tends to work. Some of them, they do kind of talk you through it.
Yeah.
And there's like, and I'm like, I'm not interested. I just want the music and I want the flashing lights. I don't necessarily want someone talking me through it.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I still do it. I still find it quite cathartic.
Cathartic.
Ah, the great outdoors. What could be better for your mental health than going out into nature and getting some fresh air? Thank you for that. And if you're planning a visit to Loch Lomond, walking the West Highland Way, or just enjoying the stunning Scottish landscape, why not pop into the Button Ben Cafe in the heart of Croft Tammy for a bit of a pit stop? They offer everything from hearty breakfast to delicious evening meals to homemade treats, most of which I've sampled myself and can wholeheartedly vouch for. The Button Ben is family run, fully licensed and packed with charm, an ideal spot to relax and recharge. Just a stone's throw from Loch Lomond, Drimmen and the Devil's Pulpit. Visit the Button Ben in Croft Tammy or visit www.thebuttonben.co. We'll put a link in the link tree. So we have had an email from, guess.
Ian McNabb.
No. The
John
other one.
Hannah.
John Hannah. Emails. And it goes like this. Dear housekeeping, delighted to hear that you are back, Paul, with a smile on your face.
Oh, thanks, John.
It is a shame that Gail will no longer be doing housekeeping, even though Lee thought it was a shit show. She was clearly only following the example she was given.
It's fair.
Anyway, the new format. I like it. In capital letters, good idea.
Excellent.
Why? Well, I like to listen to the, in inverted commas, professionals when I have the time and can when I can properly concentrate. I also like to enjoy your comments and reflection, brackets, the waffle, close brackets. This I can listen to when I don't have to fully concentrate. This will probably help me get to sleep at night. Keep up the good work. Regards, the other John Hannah.
Thank you, the other John Hannah.
So I think from that straw poll, we can say that 100% 100% of our listeners think that the new format is a good idea.
And John Hannah thinks that our waffle is better than the Luminate app for aiding sleep at the end of a long, busy day.
Yes. If you want to go to sleep, kids, listen to Mind Cake.
Don't luminate.
Actually, don't luminate, Mind Cake. Except there's no kids listening, as we know.
No.
We
have a certain demographic, don't we?
We do. I was just looking, actually, we have actually had another emails, but I think it's a worky related one. Hang on. Bear with.
It'll
Uh,
be oh hey, I saw your profile on Facebook and I think I should come on and plug my
no,
self-help book.
I don't think it is. Hello, Mind Cake.
Hello.
Like you all, I produce a mental health podcast. I've been working feverishly at trying to develop a stronger following on Facebook, and your podcast commented on a post I published. Okay, possibly.
What have
I
you
have
been up
since
to?
Oh, I have since listened to some of your material, and I would love to speak to you regarding your process of building a podcast for mental health. You're asking the wrong people here, pal.
Yeah. If you want any advice on how to gain followers
Yeah,
and
don't
run a
speak to me.
professional podcast,
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
definitely come at the wrong place, pal.
But
Wherever you are.
at least it looks like we're giving a good persona, though, if that's what people think.
Yeah. Maybe
I
maybe to
understand.
some people we are like
Yeah,
professional as
we
shit,
know what we're doing. I
Yeah.
understand this request may seem a bit strange, but producing a podcast can be a lonely world, and I'd love to have more connections in the brain health realm. Could we connect to talk about what your experience has been like? Yeah, I can have a chat, but I think you're barking up the wrong tree, pal.
Who is it? Who is this
Well,
person?
I'm not going to say on it.
Well, that's exciting though. I'm glad that John Hanna, the other John Hanna,
Mm,
likes the new format.
he does.
Um and yeah, so I think that's a fair reflection. If
Is it a fair reflection?
if John Hanna likes it, then surely everybody's going to like it.
We need to know if Ian McNabb likes it.
We haven't heard from Ian for a while, have we?
We need to know the main. So we need to know whether Joanne Mitchell is a name check list. Joanne Mitchell, Sarah Dean slash Hearn,
Yeah. My pal cousin Carrie.
your pal cousin Carrie, Malky,
Oh, I wee Malky, Alan in Australia.
Ian McNabb. Do we say Ian McNabb? I've not
Yeah.
heard from him for ages. I hope he's okay.
Mm. Ian, let us know how you're doing, pal.
One of these people, see, this is a mystery in itself, is that I know because it comes through to me if someone has ordered any merch.
Oh,
Someone has ordered, I believe it's a pin badge, a
ooh,
journal, and a mug.
nice.
And I've gone around the usual suspects. I thought, it'll be you. You've done it. And you're
Mm.
saying, no, you haven't ordered any merch. Then I thought, well, it'd probably John Hanna. It's not him. It's not cousin Carrie. Would it be Malky?
I don't know. I don't know. The phone case looks pretty cool.
Yeah, so I've got my phone case,
Yeah, very nice.
and I've got my notebook with
Yeah,
all my notes in.
I'm getting a notebook.
And I think I told you that I got a mug. What are we going to do with these mugs, though? Now,
They will go down in history as being, the prototype mugs.
I've got
They'll,
two
they'll
in
be
the cupboard.
very rare.
Well, maybe we should. I've still got two in the cupboard from before, so maybe
Did we ever send any out to people?
no.
That was another idea that never really came to fruition,
Well,
wasn't
it's
it?
another idea that didn't come to fruition. I'm kind of glad it didn't because my new mind cake mug turned up the other day and it was smashed. Hopefully, there's not, as you said, hopefully that's not a euphemism for the show.
Yeah, a metaphor for
Just chucked it in the bin.
yeah. Well, so I've got an old style mug, and you've got one, and also two spares in the cupboard.
I've got two spares in the cupboard.
So does that mean there's only 4 of those mugs in existence?
Yes,
Excellent.
they're smart actually. I do like them, but it's just
Yeah.
not got. It's not got. I don't think we've ever mentioned. We've not got, and I've tried to get her on the podcast. We've not got Sophie's logo on it. So
Well,
Sophie,
this was before
this was
Sophie's
pre-Sophie.
design. Yeah.
Yes.
But it's a good mug. And actually, do you know, because the inside of the mug is black,
Yeah.
it's good. It's a good mug for a cup of soup because you can see if there's any, dregs at the bottom.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, I mean, again, that should go on the poster. I mean, if you do like your cup of soup, because again, that's not highly processed, then get in touch because we've got 2 spare mugs. We should maybe do a competition or something.
I should also say that other instant soups are available.
Yeah. But don't have them though, because if you can hear that, that's Gemma just flushing the toilet. Don't know if it was a wee or a poo. Um. So yeah, let's and then the last thing I was going to say was we'll do a competition for that again amongst these other things that we always say we're going to do and never do.
Hmm.
You need to tell me when you are free for your psychic reading, as I have found someone, but the day that I thought we were going to do, you can't do.
I
So let
can't do that day.
let
Yeah.
me know when you can do, and I'll book it in. If for any other reason I do not want it getting into November, and you go, no, it's too cold for me to go in the water now. Because we're doing both,
Where's
right? It's not one or the other. It's both.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Where is this psychic person based? Are they near you? Or
Glasgow, I think.
Glasgow? Oh, it's
Glasgow.
Glasgow, is it?
Mm.
Okay.
So you just let me know when you're free, and I will find an entity, a spiritual body.
Okay, mate.
Maybe I should find out. Here's the thing. Maybe I
Hmm.
should find out if I've still got the how I would track him down. I don't know, but whether it's in an old email, the life regression guy,
Oh, the former gas
the
man.
former British gas engineer turned regression therapist.
Yeah, but
That's not really fair now because you would go in with your preconceived, oh yes, I've gone through the door marked 1732, and you'll have done your homework and know exactly what happens in 1732 and come up with this wonderful narrative about how you're I seem to be on
I'm
a
a
horse.
king.
I'm a king. I'm on a horse I'm jousting and winning everything. I'm holding a big. It's like that mirror. What's the mirror in Harry Potter where you see yourself doing, your
Oh,
wildest? Yeah,
yes. Yeah, yeah. The mirror of something.
I don't know what it is, but yeah, that's you. That is in the past life regression, being, I don't know, winning some sword fight, but you're basically going to be, what's his name? Or does he die in the end? Spoiler alert. I've never seen the film Gladiators. Gladiator.
Gladiators.
Yeah, not that one.
Gladiator. Yeah, well, that's Gladiator 2's coming out soon, isn't it?
But does Russell Crowe not die in the end of Gladiator 1?
Yes, he does.
Right, spoiler alert. I've not seen it, but I don't know why I knew that.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
what's the
It's like
premise
it's
of
like lots of these kind of films where the hero dies a heroic death, you
right?
know.
So what's the premise of Gladiator 2? Is his grandson or something or what?
I think it's meant to be his son.
Oh, it is right.
I
I was
think.
joking. Right, it
No,
is
no,
right.
I
Okay.
think it is. I did watch the trailer and I did, and I might have misheard, but I do think that his dad is referred to as Maximus, who is Russell Crowe's character from the first one.
Right. Okay.
Um, I'm happy to be corrected on that because that I might have picked up the wrong end of the stick. But
And
yeah,
our friend Michael Douglas is in a new film.
Michael Douglas.
Well, Michael Douglas, who was renamed Michael Keaton.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
Have you seen Beetlejuice? Beetlejuice?
No, I haven't.
Supposed to be very good.
I've heard it's very good.
Mm. Maybe we should go together.
Maybe we should. Maybe we should have a day out in Glasgow and get psychic readings and go and see
Go and see
Beetlejuice, and then
Beetlejuice. Yeah, and we can hold hands and
yeah,
no,
well,
have a mind cake day out.
yeah.
It's fine. We don't need to hold hands.
Well,
We'll just do that in private.
yeah. Separate houses, separate beds.
Yeah. I think the fact that you have to qualify that, the listeners know that it's not really separate houses, separate beds at all. As you said last time, if we went to a psychic together, they would definitely go, "Oh, look at these two!
Oh,
What a lovely couple!"
yeah. So how are we going to work that though? Are we just going to
Change,
just going to
change
book?
the subject completely from being a homosexual couple.
No, but like when we do go to the psychic, are we going to just individually like book two sessions on the
Well,
same day so that they don't know that we're coming as a double act kind of
no,
thing?
no. I think let's just cover our tracks. I think basically you go in Glasgow, wherever that is. I don't even need to come. You could go to Glasgow and then just come here afterwards, or I could meet you in Glasgow, sit and have a coffee while you're having your reading.
Oh, right. So you're not doing it as well. I thought you were
I
doing
am
it.
doing it, but I'll do it at a different time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because it'd be a bit weird if you're walking out as I'm walking in, going and pretending we don't know each other because we happen to got a 2 o'clock and a 3 o'clock appointment.
All right.
My dad will be there anyway, finding me a car parking space, so I won't have any bother getting parked.
That's true. That's
Mm.
true.
Whereas you might need to allow a bit more time.
Yeah, I might get the train.
Yeah, probably best.
Yeah. Because if I'm driving around Glasgow, can't find a parking space, I think my spirit guide will just be laughing at me, which seems to
Again.
be again.
Mm. I should say something on that as well. I don't I was I think I said in the car episode about why isn't my dad my spirit guide, because he kind of knows me and he's got nothing better to do. When in actual fact, yes, that was silly of me, because obviously he wouldn't have been my spirit guide for the first 30 years of my life because he was still alive. So who would
Well,
have been who
that's
would
yeah. Never thought about it from that
yeah,
perspective.
when
Actually,
you say
yeah.
it out loud, it's obvious why he's not my spirit guide, because he was actually here on planet Earth at the same time as me for most of my life,
Mm-hmm.
or 30, at least 32, I think, of the 50 years.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's taken over the mantle from someone else who was doing it for the first 32 years whilst he was on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
So
That makes sense, actually.
that does make sense why he's not my spirit guide.
Yeah,
So there. Oh, it all went very quiet then, didn't it?
it did.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Sam.
Okay, well, we'll get that in the diary.
Mm. Soon, otherwise it's going to be chilly round the cockles.
Cockles, no muscles.
Mm-hmm. But
So,
just to
yeah,
reiterate, it is both. It's not just the one, and then I forgot to bring my swimmers.
yeah. Uh,
Then yeah, smirking and moving on very quickly.
what else?
Maybe we should do the dip first, then the reading, because I know otherwise it'll be like Erin eating her tea. Well, no, I definitely will eat my dinner after I've had this chocolate pudding. Doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Right, is that us? Oh, you got to do your housekeeping again. I'll say again to the listeners that won't make any sense, but we literally just did the housekeeping 40 minutes ago when we did the last housekeeping for the other episode.
Yeah, I can do the housekeeping again.
Do it. Do it now.
All right.
Holbee's housekeeping. Oh, how very lovely.
If you want to get in touch, please send us an email at sliceofmindcake@gmail.com. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Mindcake Podcast. You can find us on Facebook if you search for Mindcake. Also, do go to our link tree on our socials and sign up to our wonderful newsletter.
Yes. Have you read the newsletter, Paul?
No,
No.
I haven't subscribed to it yet.
Haven't you?
No, I'll do it right now.
Don't worry, nobody has. No, I think we have got 43 subscribers.
Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing it right now. I've been meaning to do it.
Yeah. Do it. You might like it. Then you can find out what, because you're just as clueless as the audience, what guests we've got coming up.
Yeah, I know. Well, I've been out of the loop, haven't I?
You have been out the loop. I quite like it though, just to spring these people on you. Just turn up to do the bookends for an hour, and I just tell you what's been going on.
Yeah.
Give you an update.
Okay, so Mindcake, we've got our links in our shop.
Yeah.
Mindcake TV. Sign up for newsletter.
So it's all there, all in one convenient place.
Oh, I've got to put my first name in.
Dave.
Just put my email address in now. This is good podcast material. This isn't it?
Yeah, again, I might just cut this out. You signing up for a newsletter.
Exclusive slices, please.
An audible buffet.
Welcome to the Mindcake tribe.
Yeah, you're kind of already in it, but
yeah, I'm kind of the leader of the tribe, but like,
so I think leader's probably stretching it a bit.
I don't know what's happening, underneath.
I mean, we've got at least 6 listeners now.
And actually, if you haven't left us a review yet, maybe you should do that.
That would be good.
Leave us a little review. Good ones are great. If you're going to leave us a bad review, don't. You know what I mean?
Just tell me.
Yeah. Just email Lee and tell him. Just don't put it on the actual official review.
Yeah, no.
We
In all
only want good
seriousness,
reviews.
in all seriousness, it is a silly. It's not a silly thing to say, but it is a bit. I don't know. I don't like saying it because it's like almost corporate when we are just, doing our thing. But to get people, like, it does help when you go, will you come on our podcast? And we previously had Alistair Campbell, or now we've previously had Alistair Campbell and Arthur Smith. And on the basis of that, there's been another guest that has gone, yes, I'll come on the podcast. So if you've got like 5 reviews or 10 subscribers, it doesn't really ingratiate people like Lewis Capaldi to come onto the podcast. So just to some notable people that have contacted, there is a lot of people I've contacted in order to get, your Arthur Smiths. It's a low hit ratio. So people who have said a definite no, I think we've seen on the socials. Eddie the Eagle sent a very nice letter back, a very nice email back to say that he wouldn't be doing the podcast. Jimmy Cricket,
Oh,
do you remember him off the 80s?
Come here. There's more.
We still haven't
Or
obviously
not
heard,
in this case.
or not. There isn't any more. He did say his email again was very nice. Now, please don't think ill of me, but I've kind of done a lot of these things, and I don't really feel I have anything more to say.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. We still got to hear from the Bostrom, and I've still not heard back from Anne Widdecombe.
Did you get in touch with Anne Widdecombe?
I did get in touch. Oh, Paul, you haven't even seen the list of the multitude of people that I've tried to get in touch with that have not responded. Gail Porter, not responded yet. That's not to say she won't. Not yet.
I see.
Right, should we go? Because I've got a feeling that Gemma, I think I heard the door go.
I've got to go and pick Gail up from the train station anyway.
Go and do it.
I will. You go and do that.
Okay, so we just round up and say goodbye then?
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with another smashing interview with a wonderful guest.
I'm trying to think who's next. Could be one of a few.
Leanne.
If you could pull your finger out your ass and edit, I mean, I think you met Leanne in probably March.
Nah, it wasn't. It was. I've got the. In fact, I'll tell you when it was. You're going to be like that.
Well, I don't think you're gonna do yourself any favor. I wasn't March. It was April.
It was June. It was the 22nd of June.
22nd of June. June, July, August, September. 3 months ago. That's not as bad as I thought it was, to be fair.
It seems like it was in March.
It seems like it was in March. So apologies, Leanne. You might be next if Paul can.
Hey, I've been busy and I'm back, so just let me do it.
Let me do my thing. I've been too busy doing my show reel. Oh no, I haven't. Oh.
That costs money. I don't have any money right now.
It doesn't cost money. You could just edit it on. Whatever.
But I've only got like. Do you know what? I'm not getting into this on air.
You've got loads of Game of Cones stuff.
Yeah, but I need a range. I can't just have that.
Can you use the Crown stuff?
No, because I'm barely fucking in it. I'm in it for literally about 3 seconds.
What about your advert with David Beckham?
Yeah, well, but again, I've put my adverts onto my Spotlight, but I need an acting show reel, not a commercial show reel.
Right, okay. I mean, the other thing as well is that Game of Cones is probably the only clip you're going to have where you're not camp as Christmas.
That's true. I also.
I was just replaying the David Beckham advert in my head there, where you, yeah.
If you've just tuned in and you haven't heard any of the previous episodes where Lee makes fun of my acting, do go back and listen.
Please do get the listener numbers up. Helps us get good guests.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Go and get.
Bye,
Gail.
everybody.
Bye. Love you. Bye.
Love you too.
Let's start a podcast about our mental health for no good reason why. Let's call it
Bites. Ooh, yum, 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 yum. I actually had an anxiety thing about that the other day in the car. I was like, hang on, so when I'm doing the mind bites, which bit do I say again?
It's just the opposite of what you usually say.
I
There's only
know,
two
but
of us.
sometimes I can't remember what I'm supposed to be doing. Anyway, crack on. I know this bit, that's fine.
Okay.
If I press end, oh no, that's gonna just cut you off, I think.